Teebs and Kid Phoenix podcast is now partnered with Dubby Energy. Dubby is an energy drink powder that is different from the energy providers of the past, using all natural energy from ripe coffee cherries to provide natural energy with no sugar, no calories, no artificial coloring, and no maltodextrin. Each serving of Dubby contains about 2 cups of coffee worth of caffeine, but since Dubby's formula is sugar-free, you get energy and focus without those anxious, jittery, or wired feelings. Just mix 1 rounded scoop with 8 ounces of water and you're good to go. Unlike energy in a can, you have the ability to control how much goes in. Want to take it a little easier? Drop in a little less powder. You're in control. Listeners to our podcast can receive 10% off their order by using promo code Teebs at checkout. Try any one of Dubby's 15 unique flavors, including cherry blossom or Japanese soda today, and experience the difference.
Oh, I feel for my brother. Feel for my brother. The street life used to be on. Straight up hustling till the break of dawn. Taught me how to do wrong right. Everything inside. But somehow things.
Hello, everybody. Teebs here.
Greetings.
Teebs and Kid Phoenix podcast.
Greetings from the internet.
Glad to see everybody made it, survived the ghouls and goblins of Halloween time.
Did you have to cancel anybody on social media for their Halloween costumes? I didn't have to.
I didn't have to, but I canceled a few people just because I like canceling people. I mean, that's
Jesus.
um
That's what you live for now.
listen, I have one power, and that's all, and I'm going to utilize it. But speaking about people with powers, so as you may or may not know, Dio and I are old dudes.
Yep. Yeah.
And, one of the things about old dudes is you don't want to really think of yourself or be thought of as an old dude. So one of the ways that we can combat this is by trying to, remain young by doing things that, we did in our youth, that we enjoyed in our youth. And for me, part of that is getting back into role playing. Now, for those of you that do not know, I did a lot of role playing when I was in college. And I always enjoyed it, and I always tried to keep up with what was going on. But, adult responsibilities and, running from geekdom, as I had for a while, kind of prevented me from embracing it with both my arms. But now, forget all that shit. I'm old. I want to do things that bring me joy, and role-playing is one of those things. So...
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
College? You did no role-playing anything in high school?
Yes, I did some in high school, but college is the most recent. Yes.
Shout out to, once again, the now unfortunately no longer with us University of the Arts.
Shout out to you, Arts. So one of the things, on the podcast today, we've brought on our good friend Cory Slaton, who is something of a master of dungeons. Some might even call him a dungeon master.
I believe the technical term is now game master, sir.
So he is a master of games.
Yeah.
And Cory, I appreciate you coming on today just to talk about that. There's a lot that has happened since 19 when I went to college.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I just
did they even have the internet back then, or was it just
okay,
two
all
cups
right.
of
There
string?
was the internet. There was the internet. Okay. It was
It was-
AOL, but it was the internet.
It was
That's
dial-up.
technically the internet. It was
It was
dial-up.
dial-up. We
Yeah.
had the ability
It was
to get online.
28.8, but it was the internet.
It was the internet. We survived
You had to wait
somehow.
5 minutes to download one picture, but that counts.
And
It
God
does.
God forbid if your parents had to use the phone at the same time you were kind of downloading photos.
I don't know how we ever made that work.
I don't know how to.
I was very privileged in that regard because we had a separate work line for the internet.
Incredible.
So at my house, usually I got to use the internet uninterrupted, unless it was a work call or something for my mom had to do.
Good for you.
Yeah.
We did not have that luxury. We didn't have that luxury or, cable. We had 4 walls and a roof with running water. So that was good enough for us.
We had electricity.
We had electricity. That's right. I'm sorry. We had that.
So So yeah, there's just a lot of games out there. There's a lot of different things. Like before, there was just Dungeons and Dragons and kind of GURPS and like Vampire, and that was it. But now there's those. There's like D100. There's Mordborg or whatever that's called. There's so many different games and so much stuff happening out there. Just Cory, if you could give us just an overview of how you see the gaming landscape right now in 2025. Yeah.
And Cory, this will go into speaking your credentials for this topic.
So to address I started playing D&D when I was a 8th grader back in 1997, because I'm 10 years younger than the old men on this podcast. I am the baby, yet I still have gray hair because we're all old men.
I got
With
gray
Baldur's
in here.
Gate.
I got
the
gray
PC
in here.
game. Is when I started
Baldur's
playing.
Gate 1?
Yes,
Jesus.
Baldur's Gate 1 was the
Holy
very
crap.
first.
Holy shit, you're old.
And it was advanced second ed with Thaco, and I had no
Thaco.
idea of any of the rules
I love that
at all. I
Damn.
just pumped the points in and did what made it better, because of
That's what
course
we
we
all
couldn't
did.
look up.
That's what we all
We
did.
couldn't look up how to make your characters optimized, or even like game facts to look up, the cheats. But that's how I got my start. And then 3rd edition hit in 2000, and that's when I truly got into role-playing games at the end of high school. So there basically is, as far as I can tell, there's 2 camps of people who play tabletop. There's Crunch and there is Fluff. The people who like
love this.
Crunch are the ones who like the mechanics. They want as many complicated mechanics that explain everything that the game system is supposed to do, and their joy either comes from understanding the system or breaking the system, and sometimes that overlaps. They want to make the best character that do whatever they want it to do. The other camp...
Quick question.
Yes.
Because Teebs may not know this terminology, but like, does that speak to the concept of min-maxing, or is that something
Yes, it
completely
does.
different?
I know what min-maxing is. Jesus Christ.
Munching and min-maxing.
We had min-maxing back in the day.
don't-
I played with people who were like, wait a minute, you have 9 spells at first level? How does that happen?
I don't know. Listen, Teebs,
Because-
we barely talk about your tabletop bona fides.
Yeah.
We had a podcast in February where we created a character for you. Like, that was a thing that existed. So
Yeah.
I didn't
I've
know.
created characters before,
I
bro.
didn't know your credentials. I'm sorry, but okay, to continue, min-maxing, yes.
So min-maxing, munchkins, game and character optimization is a big draw for, or they just like exploring new systems with different mechanics than games that they played before. The other group of people want fluff. And the reason it's called fluff is because it's not crunchy. That is the only reason, it's not graham crackers, it's marshmallow.
It's less complicated?
Not necessarily, it's just more abstract.
Okay.
So you have your people who like the flavor of the world, the lore, different character. They don't care if their character's optimized. They just want to play, for instance, like they want to play a tabaxi, which is a cat person, because they want to be a cat person.
Right.
They don't care if the cat person is the best at sneaking, although generally speaking, when you play a cat person, they're pretty good at sneaking because cats are sneaky. But they don't care
Wow.
about that. They want to be, that person. They might play a hulking, gigantic barbarian cat person just because they want to be this. They have an idea of the character in their head and they want to be able to play it.
So the people that really like ingratiate themselves into like the roles, those are more like the fluff people.
Generally speaking, your heavier role players tend to lean more towards fluff. They're not the nerds, they're the geeks, if you want to make that delineation. Because at least when I started out playing, you had 2 groups of people who played D&D. You had the math and science and the band nerds, and you had the theater geeks.
Yeah.
Those were the 2 people that played. And now you can have the science and math nerds who are really big into role playing, but they tended to be a little bit more into the crunch because, of course, they liked numbers.
Ugh.
And they liked finding synergies and combos and things like that.
And that totally makes sense. Like me personally, like I'm kind of on the border, which shouldn't be surprising to anybody. but I probably lean more towards the fluff end than the crunch end. I personally despise the concept of min-maxing. I'm just like, I just want to create my character the way I want to create my character. I don't care if I have uh the most damage or the most spells or anything like that. But like, this is the character that I built, period.
Right. Well, and again, min maxers can have that too.
Right. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with those types of players. It's just not me. It's just not for me.
My personal take on it is I want to make my character the best at what he does because I don't want him to die. I want to play this character. I want to role play him, and I don't want him to have any problems doing what he's supposed to do. And then I don't min max him from then on out. Okay, I get to role play him easier because I don't have to think about him anymore.
I tend to play. I think I'm leaning more towards fluff, and my favorite game is Vampire the Masquerade. But
would you like to cross your hands to go invisible?
No, but anyway, I really like playing, and I will particularly try to make and build complicated characters with deep interpersonal conflicts at their core. So just because I think that they are more interesting for me to play, and I think more interesting for the group.
Lord or Lady Pizza Cutter of the Ventru clan. I understand.
I would really
no point.
Exactly. But if Vampire lets you play characters like that, one of the knocks on D&D for the longest time has been too much of character growth and development. You get too much. The majority of the experience points are gained through combat, not through any other.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So the game feels very combat focused.
Well, it was Chainmail, which is what it's a miniature combat game.
Right.
It was like a Warhammer 40K wanted to be an RPG.
Right. Vampire is more based around social dynamics and like really understanding character and understanding character interaction. I think the best way that I've heard it explained is like Vampire is Vampire is the game where you deal with your consequences. So in D&D, invariably, the party is going to go into some town, like kill like 5 people, and like the GM is going to be like, okay, now I'm in this situation where I have to deal with my party being in jail because they killed 5 people. Like, but in Vampire, it's like, okay, you can kill those 5 people, but like the other vampires that those 5 people were connected to are now after you. And like, I will make sure that they come get you at some point during the rest of this campaign.
And I hear that point, and like, I think that's something that appeals, like the idea of like having to come back and just like really, being strategic about like what you do like in game. And in my experience, I used to play Pathfinder Society a lot, not so much after COVID, but we'll get back to that in a second. I feel like, and Cory, you play Pathfinder Society too, so I'm wondering if like
the heck is Pathfinder Society?
Okay.
It's a tabletop MMO, basically. You're playing with a community of people. You sit down for a game. The DM has a scripted module that they run for characters that are official, basically. You can't alter the sheets other than what came out of the adventures.
Right.
You do so many modules, then you'll get a level, and then you can adjust them as needed. But everything that you do has to be recorded to make the character official, because they don't want you cheating. Basically, that's the way they rectify that. But it's an MMO, but for tabletop.
And in Pathfinder Society, there were certain points, and Cory, you can correct me, where like consequences of a group's actions came back at some point if you kept going on with the modules. I think that was a thing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I thought so. I haven't played a whole lot of D&D Adventures League, so I don't know if that's also the case there.
So just a point I want to bring up in addition to Pathfinder Societies, I used to play back when I was in college the first time around, Living Greyhawk, which was the D&D Pathfinder Society back for 3.0 and 3.5. And Texas and Oklahoma, each state was delineated into different kingdoms, and Texas and Oklahoma were what called the Bandit Kingdoms. And the Bandit Kingdoms were part of the evil empire of Ayuz, who was a chaotic evil god. Okay. And people would come, and you could only play those modules in a convention in Texas or Oklahoma.
Oh, shit.
Each region had its own modules.
I see.
Wow.
Which was really cool, because you go to some place like Gen Con or, San Diego Comic-Con, and you could play or PAX and play regional modules. So the people that
like
did
fun.
The dude who actually built Pathfinder was the head of the development for the Bandit Kingdoms when I was playing.
Wow.
And that's also part of the reason why Pathfinder exists, is because he didn't feel that D&D 3.5 was good enough as a rule set.
Got it. So so you both played that. Do you enjoy that kind of interconnected, like part of a larger world thing? Because White Wolf does. Sorry, they're not. I don't even know who the hell it is. World of Darkness doesn't do that anymore. or World of Darkness does that. That's not. And that's
it's still White Wolf. It's still White Wolf.
Okay, it's still White Wolf. Yeah.
And it's still a big feature of that world. It's just something that I kind of bristle against as somebody who likes to write their own games, just because there's certain things that you have to, I think, as someone who would be running Vampire, there are certain things that you have to maintain. There's certain big name stars of the World of Darkness that you have to keep hold of. However, the person that if I were to write something for San Diego, the people that wrote World of Darkness don't know anything about San Diego, so I find what they have written for it severely lacking and not as interesting as what I could come up with. So I'm just going to throw it out and do my own thing.
So,
well, and
you would alter your game to your current environment, which is totally fine.
Just every city in World of Darkness pretty much has its own, like, you can get the big ones, of course, are like Chicago, New York, Seattle. Those have modules that are built for them with characters, and like these characters fit within the larger hierarchy of North American vampire society in such a way. What I'm saying is, like, I find that a little bit restrictive, especially when there's stuff that I want to add that I think makes it more robust for the area that we're in, because San Diego is stuck between two really big it's between two big centers of, like, epicenters of particular vampire philosophies that people are living with.
You mean like LA and San Francisco?
Like LA and Tijuana or Mexico.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Basically, the vampires that control Mexico are fanatics about being vampires, and the vampires in Los Angeles are complete free spirits and don't believe that anybody should be ruling them at all. Yeah. And San Diego is in the middle between these two philosophies, and I don't think that the world building has taken advantage of that opportunity to tell stories in the way that I would. So, but
the point of, like, Pathfinder Society and the D&D Adventurers League, really, it is so you can play at conventions or you can play at game shops.
Got it.
That's really what it's for. If you have a group of 4 to 6 people that you can play with on a regular basis, like I'm able to, I have 2 separate groups, one here in Philadelphia, and then I also have a group in Austin that I play with over Discord. And if you have a group like that, you don't need to do Pathfinder Society or Adventures League or anything like that, because you can modify. In fact, the game that I run is a completely homebrew world. I built it with the input of my players. And while it uses D&D 5e, the only reason it uses D&D 5e is because that's what the majority of my players are comfortable with using.
And speaking as somebody that's used to both, just like I haven't really played E, like I really only play 5e when I play in Cory's game. And that's basically it. Every other module that I play is Pathfinder 2nd Edition then.
Which is objectively a better system in my opinion. But as a DM, you have to either cajole everyone to playing the system that you want to run.
Right.
Or you adapt to the system that everybody wants to run.
We say it all the time on this podcast. You got to give the people what they want. And it's just like, if the people want to really get into 5e because that's what they're used to, then then as a DM, it's probably a good idea for you to just say, all right, I don't really know 5e, but damn it, I'll figure it out because you're uncomfortable with what I'm comfortable with, and I need the majority.
And D&D 5e is probably the least mechanically intensive version of D&D that has ever existed.
Yes.
Coincidentally, it's also the most popular version
Right.
of D&D that has ever existed because the bar of entry is so low. And like in 3.0, when I started playing it in pen and paper, you could build a character that was trash at everything it did. You can't do that now unless you actively work.
Yeah, you have to do that shit on purpose.
Yeah. Now, that doesn't stop people from doing it. It just means that if somebody who is brand new to the hobby, like, say, for instance, Teebs has never played D&D 5e, and I'm like,
I
hey,
have never played D&D.
He
Right.
really.
and it's like, hey, we're gonna play, in my game. I'm gonna bring you in because you're on the West Coast, and so is apparently everybody else but me and Adio. So
It's a good coast.
Okay, let's settle down.
it's not as good as the East Coast. East Coast has weather.
Yeah,
Weather's overrated, but we're not going to get into this right now.
that's a different.
But if we create a character, you would have to actively try to screw yourself over
Right.
making a character. Because you want to make choices, and especially in your case, you want to make choices with flavor, right?
Mhm.
You want to. I don't know your particular predilections, but I know you want to play a character with flavor. So you'd say, okay, I'm a bard and I want him to do this or that. I want him to be a gnome. I want to do this. As long as you're following along the guidelines in the player's handbook, you're going to create a gnome bard that is pretty good at what he's supposed to do.
At being a bard, but
Yeah.
Got it.
I have a question. When it
Yeah.
comes to vampire versus like D&D 5e or
Mhm.
Pathfinder, is it like what I'm kind of hearing, and you can correct me, like there's kind of like a freeness to the vampire module as opposed to like more structured D&D or Pathfinder?
No, it's not that. It's not that
The
there's
mechanics
more.
serve the story.
The mechanics serve the story, but like the vampire's not built around combat, so
It's not.
Okay.
the system is very simple and easy to understand. Like you have all of your attributes have dots next to them, and however many dots combined with attributes and skills. Like let's say I make you check intelligence, and you also say, like, let's say you're trying to hack something. You say, oh, I want to hack this computer. It's like, okay, roll me intelligence plus computer hacking. That equals 6 dice. You roll 6 dice. Any of those dice that are higher than a 6 is a success, and the number of successes that you had determine how well or not you achieve
Yeah.
that task.
It's the same basic principle as D&D, which is the D20 plus your stat
Mm-hmm.
and whatever skill it is. It's vampires based on successes versus the difficulty check is your measure of success.
Right.
I find that interesting because, like, Tees, we were at a panel at Comic-Con where, like, the Alien RPG was more of a system based on successes than, like, D20.
I don't
and
remember
stat block.
that. I don't
Yeah.
remember that it was built on. But yeah,
It was. It definitely was. It definitely was.
But I think that system was just meant to run on just regular 6-siders, right?
Yeah, it's six-siders
Right.
and
So
just like
just a success system, I think, would work better because who doesn't have Yahtzee? Who can't pull together like
Right.
12
Oh.
6-sided dice if they have to?
And in fact, a system that I'd been playing with the Austin group was in fact based on Yahtzee. It was based on matching dice, not if you rolled over a certain number. It's how many of those dice matched.
Right. So
And
yeah.
yeah.
I think, but the points you bring up, Dio, is that kind of and that Cory also brought up as well, as far as crunch versus fluff. For the people that are trying to onboard, the people that are trying to, again, get into this hobby again, I don't know that I would necessarily be wanting to dive into every module in every book and try to extract every way to like get them. There are people for whom that is the cheese. Like that's the reason why they're doing the thing. And I think Cory expressed that. But I think for most people that I know that are trying to get into it, it's more about
the social aspect.
the social aspect. Yeah.
and that's kind
And
of where that's kind of how
D&D
this
5e sits.
and that's kind of how this podcast like started.
So sorry, Dio. Really quick,
process.
Dio. Before I forget, so is there a game, Cory, that you would say is like super built for those people that are into crunch or?
So there are a couple of games that I've never played, but I've had them mentioned, like Palladium and GURPS are very In fact, there's one system, Traveler, where during character creation, your character can die. Before you've even finished creating the character, he can die.
Wow.
Or they can die.
That's incredible.
Because you can roll your age, and if you roll maximum age, you die.
Wow.
Now, that being said, there is...
Wait a minute. What if you roll like a 3-year-old? You gotta play that character.
I think there's a minimum age that they put on the list. But, so... One of my favorite things to do, and there's a couple systems out there that'll do it, is randomly generate your character. Because it's a lot of fun. If you can, the Dark Heresy system, 40K RPG does it, but they borrowed it from Warhammer Fantasy, where you can randomly generate a character. And the thing is in Warhammer Fantasy, all of your characters are crap. They are just utter trash at the very beginning. And of course, as you gain power, you become epic. But even more so than like D&D or Vampire, a first level character is awful.
Useless.
You are one step above Joe Blow on the street. Like, one of the best jobs in the game is becoming a rat catcher. You want to know why? Because you're immune to disease and poison.
Nice.
You have the least amount of money in the game, but you're immune to poison and disease. You know how useful that can be? But yeah, nobody likes you because you smell like a sewer. Because you're a rat catcher. In fact, one of the characters that I made, all clerics and wizards start out, and engineers start out as students. That is the starting class for any of... You are given your clothes, 5 gold pieces, and 3 bottles of alcohol. That is your starting equipment as a student. That's it. That's all you have. You don't have spell books. You don't have a gun. You don't have anything useful. But do you know how many situations I solved with those 3 bottles of alcohol?
Nice.
Yeah. Because for 2
quite
sessions, I couldn't become an engineer, so I didn't have anything cool. It was just like, I have 3 bottles of alcohol, and how am I going to solve this? I'm going to give the guard alcohol.
So sorry, Dio. We kind of stepped on your point. Yeah.
Tell Cory the story of how this like idea came about, and like it speaks to like the social aspect that he was kind of bringing up. Teebs called me as he often does, and he was just like, "Oh, I sat down at this table. I was playing a game, and like I'm out here, like me and this other one cat. We were riffing on the table."
Okay, let me just. I need to. So, I went to a local coffee shop that was having a game night, and they were playing this a game called Mothership. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
I have not.
I love it. It's fantastic. It's like Event Horizon the game. It's a system where it's a very simple system, but it's basically you're a team that goes onto a spaceship derelict, and something happens. And so now you're just trying to survive. As a one-shot, it's a fantastic concept, and that's what I was going to play. It's built on D1. Yeah, it's built on D100, so super simple. So I was there, and I was playing. There are 3 classes. There's engineer, marine, scientist, android, and teamster, right? So he had pre-rolled characters, and I grabbed a teamster, and another player besides me had also played a teamster. So I decided, hey, I'm going to steer all the way into this thing, and I'm going to play this guy as a really old, seen everything, done everything guy that's like 6 days from retirement, just to like help the bit.
Teebs was Murtaugh in this situation.
The other guy, he was also a teamster, so we're going at it, we're riffing, and he's saying like, this situation is pretty bad, but not as bad as my mother-in-law. And I'm like, hey, do you remember? And the GM will describe, so there's blood everywhere, there's body parts bestrewn about the place, and I'm like, wow, that reminds me of that time that Jared like got messed up in the Thrasher machine. You remember that? So like we're role playing, we're there, we're doing the thing.
You're doing the thing.
The other folks are kind of like whatever, like and just doing their thing, like rolling, and like I understand not everybody is as able to just sit there and riff with people that they first known, but like as far as the social aspect, like you're here, like let's game, man, let's go all the way.
Let's really get into it.
All right, Cory.
Go ahead, Cory.
So I always thought it was a grand irony that the games designed for the most antisocial people on the planet, the most introverted people on the planet, requires you to get a group of 3 to 5 other people and somebody who's willing to run it in a social aspect, because a lot of people aren't comfortable. And one of the things that I thought about once you gave me this prompt is you have 3 levels of role play. Okay. You have first person role playing is like what you were just doing, riffing off the Teamster. You have what's called third person role playing, where basically you're acting like a narrator for your sorry. I should there's first person where you're describing it in character, like you are being that person. And then there's the like he does these things. And then the third level, which is like you're there's acting, first person, and then third person. Third person is where a lot of people, they're willing to tell a story, but they're saying like my character, your Teamster, he jumps through the hoops and things like that. They're not willing to act it
Got
out.
it.
Okay.
They're willing to describe what their character is doing in detail, but they don't know how to act it out. One of my favorite things to do is voices. That it's something I've done ever since I was a little kid. I like doing impersonations. I like making funny voices. And so when I designed my world, I gave all of the different races cultural languages based on our world so people could do accents if they wanted to.
Yeah.
So do you have the guidance? And also guidance for me too. So if I know that I'm playing, in this case, like orcs, they're based on Finnish. That's the language that I
Yeah.
used. The thing is that if you listen to somebody speaking English with a Finnish accent, it kind of sounds Canadian. So, oh yeah, eh? And it's just, it's very strange. So when people heard my orcs speaking like that, they're like, wait a minute, what? It's like, yeah, that like listen to a Finnish person speaking English and it sounds kind of Canadian.
And that's
It's like a
just
cross
kind of
between Irish and Canadian.
And that just kind of goes to like what we were saying before about like the types of people that were like into these games. It's just like I feel like the theater kids would just like really get into the
You're
roles.
acting. You're acting, and
I
that's
love
what
playing
you're
with
doing.
theater geeks. I loved it so much.
Yeah, but again, there's so like the theater kids love the acting part of it, not so much the role playing part. Like I'm going to go right up to this glowing orb and like touch it and put my face right next to it. Like, no, don't do that. What's
You
this
always
peculiar?
have to have the button pusher in every party.
You always have to have the one person in the party that wants to put their grubby little hands on everything. And just now going
And
down,
then we have a Dio who's the opposite.
yeah,
He won't touch anything ever.
Right.
Even when it would serve the purpose
Quite right.
for his character to do so.
Listen, I take my real life into my fantasy characters very seriously.
Speaking of real life, one other thing I wanted to bring up, and it's also kind of germane to the role-playing thing, is you have 3 types of people building characters. Okay? You have people who want to just play themselves. Okay,
Yeah,
whatever
weird.
character they are, they're playing themselves.
That's weird, Teebs said.
Right. And I can see why he would say it's weird. But then you have people who want to be the best version of themselves in a particular thing. Like when I play a paladin, I want to be the part of myself that is most like a paladin taken to the extreme.
Paladins. Gross.
Okay.
Or rogue
okay.
or wizard or whatever. And then you have the third kind of people who want to escape, to get as far away from that from any aspect of themselves as possible, and they want to play something that's completely opposite of them. So if you have somebody who's a very quiet accountant type who doesn't really speak up, maybe he wants to play a barbarian so he can be loud and stompy and not have to think. I've often found it strange that the people who were the best at math played the characters that were the dumbest people in the party. And you had the people who were not very good at math playing the most intelligent characters in the party. When you have somebody who barely graduated high school playing the wizard, it can get very interesting when the rest of the people in the group are like postdoctorate graduate students playing the rogue and the barbarian and all these dumb characters. And you're like, wizard, can you tell us what this means? And he's like, I don't know, man. My character does, but I don't know.
And
I don't know biology.
listen, it's no secret that I have a type, okay? I roll rogues, I roll rangers. That's it.
You love playing. Pardon my French here. Backline bitches that don't ever want to get their hands dirty. That's fine.
Also, one of the things is that the most mechanically complex characters are also the dumbest.
Yes.
because your whole point is optimizing my character to hit things really, really, really hard.
Right.
And the wizard, he doesn't have to think like that. He's
No.
like, okay, I have a list of spells that I cast, and as long as I know my spells, I don't have to think about anything else.
It's very straightforward. Wizard is a very straightforward character. But just to roll back into like Teebs' experience, like it got me thinking a little bit. I'm just like, there are certain outside forces that have happened since D&D 3 at this point. We had a global pandemic. We have a new generation of gamers come in, and they have been more or less raised by the internet and YouTube and TikTok and stuff like that.
Raised by a screen, yeah.
So I wanted to bring up the point where it's just like, these new generation of gamers that are coming in, is it possible that they may not have, and I'm trying to phrase this as best I can, maybe they don't have the most developed social skills for these games, given Teebs' recent experience?
Yeah, but nobody I was playing with was like young enough to have been developmentally
Okay.
affected by the pandemic.
I wasn't 100% sure of the age makeup of your group.
Also, just since the pandemic, the amount of social that people get has gone down. They've statistically shown that the amount that people meet in person has gone way down, because you had two kinds of people during the pandemic: people who dang near lost their minds being in isolation for that long, and then there were people kind of like me who was like, oh, this isn't that different from my daily experience. And you either loved it or you got used to it.
Yeah.
And it's the people who loved it and got used to it that once the lockdown and the pandemic ended and we were able to quote unquote return to normal, a lot of the businesses that we used to game out a lot of the third spaces, they're gone now.
Yeah.
And also the people who got used to it just got used to it, and they're like, why would I meet in person? Yes, I love meeting in person. In fact, 2 weeks ago I was able to game in person for the first time in 5 years.
And will say something. I think that this particularly is important to people in Philadelphia. I don't know so much Austin, but definitely in San Diego. The sudden bust of the craft beer industry is really helping out with gaming spaces a lot. Because now these giant breweries are looking for reasons or things that people want to do to get them in the door.
Oh, yeah.
And so see them partnering up a lot more with role players and role-playing groups, saying, hey, come on in, use the space, and if you guys want to stay here all night and drink beer, that's fine with us. And
card games. And
oh my... We'll get into card games in a second. Cory, what were you going to say?
Jesus.
I was just going to say, it was kind of strange to me when I first moved up to Philly in 2015. I've been living in the Northeast since 2010, but I moved into Philly in 2015. Mm-hmm. There's only 2 gaming stores in the entire city.
It's kind of that way with a lot of things.
Every other game store is outside the city, either on the main line, or it's in Delaware or in New Jersey.
Right.
Which is very strange to me, because you would think a city of 1.5 million people would have more than 2. Hell, Austin, of course, now it's much bigger than when I was living there. It's almost 1 million people in the city proper, has like 4 gaming stores in the city and also a bunch in the suburbs around it.
Within the city, I know of 2. Red Caps is still a thing, and
Dark Depths Game is over on 4.
And then there's also the LGBTQ game place on, I want to say, like 4th and South.
Yeah, Dark Depths.
Dark Depths. Okay,
it's a record store / game store.
We might be talking about a different thing. I'll send you a link to the other one. But I see your point. It's just like, maybe it's possible there aren't the spaces for that in like Philly, for example. Or if there are, they're being repurposed for other things, like bowling alleys or whatever the hell else they're doing in Northern Liberties.
Yeah, I also think it's a large point of that most people who would play role-playing games in Philly already have their groups and they meet at somebody's house.
Yeah.
Or on Roll20 or Foundry.
Well, I mean, they're meeting in a group.
Okay.
Not in a private space.
Right.
Right.
Well, again, this is just something recently that I started looking into here in San Diego, but there seems to be quite a number of groups that are interested in meeting in person. So,
I mean, that's encouraging. It's nice people are getting out there to flex their social muscles a little bit, I guess.
Yeah. And of course, you have to feel comfortable because you're acting. Even if you're not acting, it's public speaking,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if you don't feel comfortable doing that, especially a bunch of people you don't know, and some people have a crippling fear of judgment, and usually that's associated with introverted nerds. I wonder why. You don't feel comfortable expressing it, but 2 or 3 sessions down the line, if they kept playing with you as a group, they would open up and they might be the most role play characters you have.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to like. I didn't want to talk about this experience that I had.
Yeah, you weren't
kind
judging.
of in a negative light.
You weren't judging them. No,
you were surprised.
It's not that I was surprised. It was unexpected because they were different than. I guess I did that thing where I didn't consider that people were doing things for a different reason than I am, because I was fully like ready to like go in there and just like go full like what's the guy's name that was on I was ready to unlock my inner Neil Patrick Harris and
Barney Stinson.
Yeah.
Barney Stinson.
And I thought everybody was there for the same thing, but again, as we've gone over here, people are there for different reasons. So who knows if I were to continue playing with them, or if I play with them down the line and they know me, it may be completely different. So listen, I apologize for if anyone listening to this podcast was at that session and felt judged. I did not mean.
Well, and you can also have role playing experiences that are very negative, and it's one of the things that we ended up. Me and a mutual friend of the podcast went to a Pathfinder Society game at a local place near him, and he was playing a character that was an extremely attractive woman. Okay. And the whole point of the character was that she was an enchantress. Okay. And she had the highest stat of charisma you could have at that level. And the whole point of the character was, I'm going to blind you with my beauty. That was the whole point of the character. And he was playing it up, and it was funny to watch. However, at one of the games that we went to, and in fact, the last game we went to at that place, there was a character playing a bard, and he was a middle-aged dude about the same age as us, and he was acting like a creep towards the character because he was playing a bard, and it's a well-known reputation that bards got to seduce everybody that's attractive. And by the end of the session, we were like, we're not going back there. That dude shows up. Because it was like watching sexual harassment in real time.
It was uncomfortable.
Yeah. Even telling the dude to knock it off, he didn't. Because sometimes awkward nerds don't understand social cues, but it's kind of important.
Kind of. And so, kind of important for why awkward nerds need to be more social.
Yes. The granulation of rubbing against other people to learn what things are and aren't appropriate in public.
Right.
And Teebs, I don't want to like put you on blast or say you were judging it like that. I hope like your experience wasn't like soured in any way, because I've been trying to lean you. Well, okay. I've been trying to violently shove you through the door of playing tabletop again for the last 6 months. So I'm just glad that you sat at a table for once. I mean,
hey, it felt good.
I'm not saying you're going to be out here at PAX West next year or anything like that, but
I am going to be running Brindlewood Bay for my fiance and her book club. Are any of you familiar with this game?
I am not.
There are so many games out now that there's no way you can keep track of them.
I understand. Brindlewood Bay is basically Golden Girls crossed with Murder, She Wrote.
So, yes.
Sounds like a lot of fun for a book club.
Yeah. Now, Dio, we really need to get into something here.
What? What did I do now?
So we
notice how that's my default reaction.
We kind of talked about how I was getting into role playing, but now I just recently learned that your thing about rekindling something that you used to do.
We're doing this.
Past.
We're doing this. Okay, all right.
Mommy and Daddy are fighting.
Okay, all right. So he's just getting back into the tabletop space. I am thinking about getting back into the Magic the Gathering space. And listen, I know it is a treacherous hellscape, the likes of which once you get out, stay out, and just like you'll be happier for it. But I'm sorry, I have the itch. I have people that I know who play and will be patient with
I
me.
plead the fifth.
Okay, yes. But listen, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Commander decks are coming out next year. I feel like this is the time that like I would jump right back in. And
that's perfectly fine as long as you understand that the longer you play Magic, the deeper you're going to want to get into it.
Listen, why don't you just start giving your paychecks directly to Hasbro right now? Just do that.
Listen, so many other companies get parts of my paycheck. Why not Hasbro?
Just direct,
because they really don't deserve it. I'll be perfectly honest. As somebody who plays both D&D and Magic, they don't deserve your money.
Listen, 2K Games got a part of my paycheck. Microsoft gets parts of my paycheck. Apple gets parts of my paycheck.
Can I just suggest
Hasbro? You want me to break you off a slice? I'll break off a slice to Hasbro. It's fine.
Okay. Can I just suggest?
I did it when I was a kid.
They're the mouse. They're the mouse that you're giving a cookie to, dude.
I've given Hasbro money before. They'll be happy to see me.
Listen, it is a very slippery slope. It is a very dangerous road to start trotting down. You're going to wind up at 2:00 in the morning on eBay deciding whether you really want to spend $250 on this one card.
No.
Because it's really going to make your deck work.
No.
No, it's the $250 TCG player order he got to optimize all four of the precons.
I'm not doing it.
Because remember, he's going to justify it. He's going to say, I'm not going to spend more than $5 on a card. And then he looks down at the order and suddenly it's $250 of $5 or less cards.
I mean, that is...
Ask me how I know.
That would be how I game the system.
We did not play CCGs in the Amazon era. That's just going to lead to another whole level of
Listen, I don't have any unhealthy addictions. It's not like I have like a huge collection of like dungeon dice. Oh wait, never mind. Listen, I'm of the age now where I feel like I can be responsible enough to like play the game and just like get booster packs like every once in a while and just like live off the 1 or 2 commander decks.
Yeah. One of our mutual friends that plays in the game that I run, he specifically bought 2 commander precons and that's it. Yeah. Because he only plays Magic in person and he wants to play commander. We played a couple of games when I was out in the West Coast and that was it. Because he only has certain friends he plays the game with.
And Cory, Teebs, I think it's different for me because like I'm at the point where I just want to play the game. I'm not out here trying to like win tournaments or any shit like that.
You say that.
I'm saying,
I know how competitive you are.
No,
the first time you get your ass beat by an 8-year-old, you're going to be on eBay.
Okay, first of all, 8-year-olds are playing Pokemon. I don't know many 8-year-olds that are playing fucking Magic the Gathering, okay?
8-year-olds and 30-year-olds, weirdly enough, because Pokemon has gotten a resurgence in the Gen Z crowd, which is weird to me.
Yeah,
like my little sister, who has never touched a card game ever in her life, is playing Pokemon with her boyfriend and some of her other friends, and I'm like, what did this happen? You were always the jock. Like, what is this?
Yeah, I'm not going to be one of those. I'm not going to be one of those people you see on social media that's just like waiting outside of a Target or something. That's just waiting for like Magic booster sets to drop or something like that.
Oh, the scalpers have gotten them already. You won't get them at Target.
Yeah, I'm not going to be that person. Like, if I go to my local game emporium and I see a couple of booster packs, and I'm just like, you know what? I got an extra $20 or something. I'll invest in a couple of booster packs, and like that'll be it.
All right, listen, Magic is fine, but if I hear wind of you playing Lorcana, you need to be taken into custody
No.
Immediately.
I don't think he's enough of a Disney kid to get into Lorcana.
No, okay. Absolutely. You're talking to somebody that has never played Kingdom Hearts. I'm not getting into Lorcana. That's not happening.
All right.
You have
Sounds
nothing.
like you need to get him the Kingdom Hearts trilogy for Christmas.
No, you don't. That's fine.
I mean, I feel like you have to have played Kingdom Hearts
at that
time. Otherwise, you're just not going to have the connection to it.
Never once played Kingdom Hearts.
It's like trying to get people now into Final Fantasy VII. I think all the fans of it are like
our age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The only anybody that's coming into it brand new doesn't have the connection, and they're like, why did this need a remaster?
Right.
And then they look at the original and they're like, oh god, why am I playing this? Because it's polygons everywhere.
Okay, so let's close out the podcast in this way. All right, Cory, you've heard Teebs's experience at his table and his wanting to jump back into that space. What is a little piece of advice you could give him right now as he kind of like dips his toe in the pool, so to speak?
Just understand that everybody's at their own pace. Like, you want to encourage people to role play,
Yes.
but you don't want to force them to role play.
Right.
Because if you force them to role play, they're going to hate you.
Right. And that's good advice, and that's something that I should have considered. And I really feel bad that I didn't think about that right away, but it's a good lesson. Hey, listen, part of these podcasts are educational for me. I'm on my own journey, growing, learning.
Well, I used to be a teacher. That's why you keep bringing me on. I understand.
Right.
And Cory, we're much closer in distance. So either way, advice for me getting back into the Magic spaces. Be serious. Don't be an asshole.
No. I'm going to be very serious. I don't know how many precons are going to be in the set. They're usually 4, and I'm guessing there's going to be 4 because there's 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
As expensive as it's going to be, just grab all 4. Go to a game store that you know is going to sell it, and buy it from the game store.
Yeah.
And the reason I say, not only to support local businesses, but also if you pre-order it, they will give you a better price than when it releases, because they only get so many of those precons at the distribution. So if they say, for instance, they get 10 and you go in there saying, hey, I want to get this 4-pack, they'll be like, okay. Then they can ask the distributor, say, hey, give me 11.
So whatever game emporium I go to, just say, hey, I want to pre-order the Ninja Turtles Commander decks, but I want to pre-order all 4 of them.
Yes, you want to pre-order all 4 of them, and you'll have to pay up front, obviously, for that. But that way you get them the day of, and you don't have to fight anybody. You don't have to worry about scalpers going in there at 8:30 in the morning going, hey, I'm going to need all these.
See, I would have never thought
local business.
I would have never thought of that. That's definitely what I'm doing there.
When the Fallout precons came out, I wanted those really badly, and I went to Showcase Games over in Swarthmore to get it because it's on the way back from work to my house. And while I don't use Showcase very often because we usually play either at my house or at one of our friends' houses, that was $250 that I gave the store with tax. So support local business. I want them to exist because I want to be able to get stuff from them.
Yeah.
Because Bezos Mart is great for a lot of things, but it's still Bezos Mart at the end of the day.
Mart.
It is Bezos Mart.
Cory, thanks for coming on and kind of educating us in the ways here. Teebs jumping back in. Well, not jumping, dipping his toe, but it's nice to know there are reputable people that we can connect with to kind of help them along a little bit.
I would also, as a final note, add the nursing homes are going to be lit when we get into our 70s and 80s.
Talk about it.
Because in the cafeteria, you're just going to, at the nursing homes, you're just going to have these little 4 and 5 person groups of, they're either going to be playing Magic, they're going to be playing Lorcana, they're going to be playing Pokemon, they're going to be playing D&D, they're going to be running Vampire. There's going to be a 90-year-old geriatric in the corner with his arms crossed going, I'm invisible, you can't see me. All right, Grandpa, come back in the room.
Yeah, not to mention all the people that are going to be dusting off the N64s.
That's right. That's right.
And all the Mario
Kart battles are going to be insane.
It's going to be outrageous.
That's how they're going to keep their memory and their manual dexterity, is sitting there playing on the N64. You just hear the GoldenEye theme, like, what's up? Shit.
Oh, can you? My God, can you imagine GoldenEye fucking tournaments in senior centers?
And there's going to be a little post-it note on the corner of the TV that says "No odd job."
Yes,
I'm okay. For the first time ever, I'm excited about aging now. This is very exciting.
Yeah, I'm down. Let's
Thank you, Cory, for that. That is incredible.
Let's ride this
train. That is just what I needed.
Oh man. Listen, follow, subscribe to the podcast. You can do so wherever you listen to the podcast. We're on social media. We're on Facebook, X, TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube. We have shorts that come out, and then we also have full videos on YouTube. Thank you again, Cory, for coming in.
It was a pleasure.
Teebs, just put that whole foot in, man. Just keep dipping. The water's fine. The water's fine in here. It's fine. As somebody that's been playing for almost 30 years nonstop, the water's fine. It's great in here.
All right.
It's all about the people. It is all about the people.
Yes.
So until next week, everybody go out, do some research, find your local gaming emporium. If this is something that you're interested in, be it tabletop, there are tons of games, as we have pointed out. There's Vampire, there's D&D, there's Pathfinder.
And if you don't have a game emporium, after the Eagles watch party, just lock people in your house and roll out the mat and say, we're doing this.
Can't confirm or deny that has happened. But yeah, also, much to Cory's point, support local business if it's within your availability. And yeah, play some games, folks. Engage your social muscles. And yeah, we'll talk to everybody next week.